Hey, man, I showed you a list about them 2 Big East teams that made it most all-time wins and most NCAA appearances. Nigga, there was 2 Big East teams on there. And only one Big 12. Try to none of that.
That Big 12 team had 10 more appearances than both of those Big East teams.
And what North Carolina had?
Like one more.
They don't play hot. The hard way. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Tariq Rashad here with
You already know what they call me, man. You already know. Don't even say it no more. I ain't saying no more.
And
well, bro, just John today.
Just John today. This is 3 the Hard Way. Back at you with a new week. Last week for a little while, we're gonna step away and fine tune, but we're gonna bring a good show for you today. Starting with college basketball, March Madness brackets is up. If you have not joined 3 the Hard Way, we are definitely doing a bracket. You see Rob in the back showing off his Kansas.
You already know. You already know, man.
Yeah, the tournament is here. By the time you see this, the tournament would already be in full swing. We would already have had about 16 of the 32 games the first round played. So, what we got, guys? We got anybody special coming out? I'm gonna start somewhere else. I don't want to start with Rob. We don't want to hear about Kansas to start. John, you got any upsets or any specials, or is it chalk gonna pull through in this compromised season?
This whole bracket is upsets. This is not a typical year. I mean, you got they call it the orange bloods, so it's crazy. It's not even the blue bloods this year, it's the orange bloods. You got Illinois is orange.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple other schools I can't.
Syracuse, I see, is in there.
Yeah, Q's is in there. Like, so listen, man, it's gonna be a tough year. I really, really, really don't have a favorite, bro. If I had to choose the team that I feel like can take it all, it probably would be between Gonzaga and Baylor. Those are the 2 teams I have. I like Gonzaga because I know that they have a lot of seniors. Jalen Suggs has been balling over there as well. I like the way that they've been coached, and they're no longer that little brother team anymore. They've been constantly in that number 1 or 2 seed for the last like 3 or 4 years. So big props out to Gonzaga from being the team that was the miracle team to now actually building a solid program. I love to see that. But you know me, I'm Big East, ACC through and through, man. Mostly Big East. Or most of my Big East teams have went to the ACC, like a Syracuse and Louisville and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I still got Gonzaga taking though.
Rob, good.
Yeah, I mean Gonzaga's undefeated right now, so obviously they would be the favorites. They did handily beat Kansas early in the year, but that was like in November, and it's a whole new different ball game when it comes to March, man. At the end of the day, there's one thing that remained true, and that's KU. We always gonna be there. So that's my pick. Once again, another year. You could just copy and paste this for the next however many years they have a tournament. Because I'm always gonna pick Kansas because we always got a shot. But aside from Kansas, one of the things that I really want to look out for, I really do like Baylor this year. I think they have a really solid team. Big 12. They do have a defensive player of the year and Davion Mitchell. He's a very solid player. I like his versatility offensively and defensively. They call him off day because usually the people that he guards have a off day. So I really like Baylor. And another thing, just it has to be said for this year, just because it's our world, man. Right now we're doing Zoom. COVID is going to be a factor in some way, shape, or form. Like you're dealing with a whole bunch of kids who are 19 to 23 years old, and they're going to be away from home. Some people are not. Kansas and Indianapolis right now, so it ain't too far. It's a few hours, but like people mess up. You see NBA players, NFL players catch COVID left and right. So I can only imagine how many teams are going to be affected by COVID. Even Kansas this year in the Big 12 conference and the conference tournament was affected. We caught a case, so it's really going to be a matter of luck and like which team and which set of players are going to be disciplined enough to do what they have to do to stay within the protocols. But like I said, I like Kansas, I like Baylor, and I like COVID to mess things up.
It's a great point. So, as you know, I haven't really been following too much of college basketball this year. My team that I follow the most Michigan State, they just weren't really that good this year. They're not in the tournament,
In the
so I
playing
have
game.
no. They're in the playing game.
Yeah,
I ain't see it.
I don't hold on. Let me tell you exactly who they play. They play.
Oh, hold up! Got to do another bracket. Upset alert.
They play UCLA.
That's okay. That's who that is playing at UCLA. But do want to shout out the Big Ten. With Michigan State in, I believe that's 9 teams they have in the tournament. Out of the Big Ten, Maryland not joining not too long ago. Rutgers as well. Definitely rooting for Rutgers. Yeah. I don't really. If Michigan State can do something, I did not know they were in the playoff game. That's how much of college basketball I've been following this year. But I would like to see Rutgers do something. I have basically picked chalk because what else is there to do? I have Gonzaga in the final. I have Ohio State because again, Big Ten. I have Ohio State winning it all. So, not really big on what's happening. I'm gonna watch the games. I know that at the very least, these games will be entertaining. Will give me an opportunity to see what the league has coming up for them with the phenoms, and also to see what college basketball stands right now. As you know, there are some players that took a different route with the G League and sitting out this year. So just seeing the state of college basketball in this COVID situation is going to be entertaining, I believe, when it comes tournament time. But I do want to transition into greatest coaches, as we did talk about the blue bloods of Mike Krzyzewski and other coaches not in the tournament that would usually be in the tournament. And it kind of opens the door for the conversation. John loves to have these greatest ever conversations, and Mike is his guy. So does this weird and unconventional year compromise your list at all, John, when it comes to great coaches?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that, coaching a program is coaching a program. At the end of the day, some people are fortunate and some are not, because you can't predict who the virus hits, how it affects them, which player it hits, and if players are willing to take the risk to do so. So there's like a lot of factors that are not under a coach's control. So I can't fault like a Duke, or a Cal or Kentucky, right, who didn't make the tourney because of unforeseen circumstances. But I do still believe that Coach K is the greatest coach in college basketball right now, because of his repertoire of players that come under him, his ability to lead both college players, the respect that he has from guys from the NBA, how he mentors them, and just his pedigree winning, and creating a program from scratch. Like if before Coach K, there was no Duke. Duke is Coach K. Coach K is Duke, if you really look at it like that. So even with his involvement to Team USA basketball. So for me, he's the greatest coach of all time. After him, I got other coaches that needs to be mentioned. You got Roy Williams, who has to be mentioned as well. You have Coach Cal, who needs to be mentioned. You can say a Bill Self. You can say a Jim Boeheim. Like those are all like great coaches, and even Jay Wright. I can't sleep on him either. But Jay Wright is a great coach for Villanova as well. So those are my like top tier list. If I'm missing any other coaches, It's because I feel like they separate themselves from everybody else. And of course, there's plenty of good coaches in NCAA, but those guys are at the top.
John, did you say Bill Self is a top coach?
He's a top tier coach.
Oh, okay, okay. I just want to make sure that we got that on wax again. But yeah, man, Coach K. As much as I love my Kansas Jayhawks, as much as I love to be a homer and like I want to toot Bill Self's horn, the longevity that Coach K has is very hard to argue with. Like John said, Duke was a nothing program before he got there, and now they're a blue blood through and through. Like there's no doubt about it. But man, there's something to be said. There's something to be said about winning that conference championship like 27 times in a row, something like that. That's like the Yankees winning World Series. You just expect it to happen, And that's what Bill Self was able to do in his reign in Kansas, man. It may have not been 27 times, but I believe it was like 21, 22, something like that. You know what I mean? I ain't never had no Duke doing none of that.
Some of that was Roy Williams. Some of that was Roy Williams.
Yeah. Bill Self was there since 2003. It's 2021. It can't be too much of him, man. It can't be too much. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying.
So who else is in your top tier? So just Coach K and Bill Self?
It's those two and that's it. That's it. There's nobody else.
No, no way. No way. Yeah.
Nah, man, nah. I would definitely have to give props to Roy Williams. He kind of left Kansas to go to North Carolina. So
he came back to North Carolina.
He left Kansas to go to North Carolina.
He was an assistant coach under Dean Smith. Left Dean Smith. He was coaching there when Jordan was there. Left Dean Smith, went to Kansas, made Kansas good. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I throw another coach in the mix for y'all.
Go ahead, Ty.
I'm talking about Tom Izzo a little bit out of Michigan State. And I'm talking about him mostly because when I was in high school, barely making AAU teams, I was looking at Drew Neitzel and I was like, yo, I'm gonna be the next Drew Neitzel. He's a senior. I'm a senior in high school. I'm gonna apply to Michigan State. I'm gonna play for Tom Izzo. It's the most exciting. It's one of the better, exciting teams that I've seen watching college basketball. I liked it. I see somebody that looks like me, not too big, not too fast, but smart, that could play the position, and I could play for Tom Izzo. And I think Tom Izzo has done a great job with guys like that. And when you talk about making it to eight Final Fours, has a national championship, dominates the Big Ten. I mean, I'm not gonna say he wins it every year, but dominate the Big Ten, 10 conference championships.
He's the most steady coach in the Big Ten. He's been
to me, what makes him great is when you talk about the players that Coach K produces and the players that Rob over at Kansas and the Jayhawks and even down with Calipari and Kentucky, what they produce. You can't really say that Michigan State produces the same NBA success that those college teams do. And for him to be in 8 Final Fours, for him to be in those situations for those teams. I mean, we're talking Draymond Green is probably the best. Between Draymond Green and Mo Peterson would be the best NBA talent that he's coached. So maybe Gary Harris you can put in that conversation. But, Kalen Lucas, Drew Neitzel, Matt Cleaves, like these guys weren't killers in the NBA, like what Krzyzewski has had, whether he had drafted them or not. A lot of those guys were one and done. They were going to be pretty good. Not to say that Krzyzewski didn't make them better, but they were talented beyond their years already. Whereas, you talk about college coaching. It's about college coaching and college culture. Izzo gets it done. He puts the teams together. I mean, I remember watching Draymond Green in college, and I think he's better now than he was in college, but I didn't think he was going to be that good in the league. It worked in college against Wisconsin and Illinois. I didn't think it was going to work in the league, but so shout out to Tom Izzo on my part.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
Go ahead, John.
No, definitely shout out to Tom Izzo. once again, I'm a big fan of college basketball and like the styles of play. I love Tom Izzo's defense and the intensity that his players play with, and also the principle. They're a very principled team. He can get on a player, they can take the criticism, and then they'll just bounce, they'll snap right back. And that's great to have as a coach who can mentor you and get you ready for that next level, but also as a mentor just outside of basketball. I think that he's done a lot for those kids to prepare them for life and teach them a lot of life lessons that other players and other coaches might not have given them. I do want to do one shout out to Rick Pitino. I did miss him out too. Rick Pitino was also a great coach, and he got Iona into the NCAA tournament in his first year back coaching. They did him dirty in Louisville, got him out of there. He was coaching in Greece, came back from Greece, giving out hot gyros to everybody, and now them boys in Iona is out here cooking. Can't wait to see them in the tournament.
Oh man,
Copy that.
yeah,
All
man.
right,
Michigan State, just really quick. Michigan State, I have a lot of respect for Michigan State and Tom Izzo and the job that he does. They're one of those schools, one of those programs that like you can never count them out. Like just when you count them out, he gonna make a Final Four run out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And there's something to be said about that. From the coaching, from the culture to recruiting. There's Final Fours are definitely something that should be acknowledged as an accolade because a lot of teams don't do it. Big East.
Facts. Shout out to those great coaches, though. You're going to come back with some more 3 hard way.
Hey, man, I showed you a list about them 2 Big East teams that made it most all-time wins and most NCAA appearances. Nigga, there was 2 Big East teams on there. There's only one Big 12, nigga. Trying none of that.
That Big 12 team had 10 more appearances than both of those Big East teams.
And what North Carolina had?
Like one more.
Nigga, please. I hear that shit.
Join again, man. Join it.
They don't play hot with the heart.